All right, so let me spotlight myself. There we go. All right, so welcome everybody. Today's topic is going to be an amazing one. It's called Your Audience Wants the Destination, Not the Directions. So today we're talking about one of the most common messaging mistakes coaches make. It's a mistake that can make your workshops harder to fill, your social media posts less engaging, your offers less compelling. And it's a very common mistake, one that I definitely used for many, many years. And it is talking about your methodology instead of your audience's problem. Or another way to say it is talking about the vehicle instead of the destination. So often we're talking about how we get people there and our 7-step method for this and our 5-step process here or whatever it is. And we'll say, I help so-and-so to do such and such by, and then we start talking about our methodology. And that's a big mistake. So before we jump into that, I want to invite you to my 3-day online event coming up soon. It's coming up in July. It's called Endless Enrollments Live, July 22nd to the 24th. This is a 3-day online immersive experience where you're going to design and strategize your own personalized high-ticket workshop system, not just a workshop, but a system. You're going to discover how to consistently attract and enroll the right clients that are ready to pay and ready to enroll, turning your expertise into a reliable, scalable 6-figure business. So we're going to spend 3 days working on your workshop, your offer, your content flow, how it should flow, all the things that we're going to deep dive into all the things that I talk about in here briefly. We're going to go deeper and how to promote and how to get people there. And you're going to meet some awesome experts. It's an amazing 3 days. And I'll drop a link in here in the Zoom room in a few minutes. And also there will be one in the show notes below the video on YouTube. So back to the topic. A few weeks ago, I was driving somewhere. I'd never been there before, wasn't sure how to get there. So naturally, I pulled up my GPS, I entered the address and started driving, and instantly I knew where I was going. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't ask the GPS how it calculated the route, right? I didn't ask how many satellites were involved. And I didn't ask about the software architecture behind it or the algorithms and how they predict traffic patterns. I didn't ask how it was getting me there, right? The only thing I wanted to know was, can you get me where I want to go? That's it. I wasn't buying the technology, I was buying the destination or the knowing how to get to the destination and being led there step by step. And your audience is doing the same thing when they're reading your stuff, whether it's social media or in emails or watching your videos, or if you're out networking, you're talking to people in person, or you're doing workshops or whatever you're doing, wherever you're out there talking about what you do, your potential clients are listening for, can you help me with my problem? They're not thinking, oh, I wonder what her methodology is, right? And so lots of coaches accidentally market like this. They might say, I help so and so with such and such, your target market. I help women get healthy, women in midlife get healthy and work through their menopause problems or issues by or with my transformational 5-step framework, or I use a holistic coaching methodology, or I use my signature system. I have a 5-part proprietary process. And that's a mistake, even though we know that's an amazing technology that we have, or an amazing process that we have, and we know it is the way that will get them where they want to go. We know it, but they don't care, to be honest. Later, they will care. Once they've hired you, or have signed up with you, or convinced that you're the one for them, then they might want to know how you're going to get me there. But what they're really asking is, can you help me solve my problem? And also another thing I've noticed is a lot of times we lead with, I've got 30 years experience with blah, 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 blah. And it starts to sound like a resume, And again, People don't care about that. They just want to know, can you help me solve my problem? And they don't wake up in the morning thinking, I hope I find a really great methodology today. Right? They wake up thinking, I just need help. I need a solution to this problem. So let's test this out. I'm going to give you 2 workshop titles and type in the chat which one do you think people would click on instead of scrolling past. Workshop titles, these are The Empowered Leadership Framework or How to Speak Up in Meetings Without Second Guessing Yourself. Which one do you guys think would grab more people and have more people clicking? Second one, right? Of course, because it's addressing the problem directly, not talking about a methodology, but talking to them about what you can do for them. So let's try another one. Title A, The Parent-Child Connection Method, or How to Stop Morning Battles and Create Calmer Routines with Your Child. Again, we are talking to the problem with that second one. That's what's top of mind for parents. If you're a parenting coach, you want to talk to them about their morning battles and you want to talk about creating calmer routines. That's what they want. That's what's top of mind for them. That's what they're waking up thinking about. People choose the destination when they choose a coach to work with. They're choosing the coach that can get them to their destination. But why does this happen? Why do we do this to ourselves? Well, we fall in love with our methodology, don't we? We've worked hard on it. We've developed it probably over many years and from our own experiences. It's what makes us unique, and we should fall in love with our methodology. It is important to have methodology that sets you apart, a proven process or a framework that you use that gets people where they want to be. It makes you distinct. It sets you apart. But our audience doesn't know that yet, and we don't want to lead with it. For example, think about books that you read. There's a book called Never Split the Difference. People will buy that rather than buying a book that said, this is a tactical negotiation framework based on behavioral psychology. If that was the title, you wouldn't get too many people, right? People buy The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up instead of a residential organization methodology, or How to Win Friends and Influence People instead of an interpersonal relationship development system. The methodology is important, but it's the outcome that gets the initial attention for people to come pay attention, come to your workshop, listen to you, and hopefully decide, yeah, I really want to work with you. So, and we're going to be working on this in depth during my 3-day event, the Endless Enrollments Live event. We're going to work on this very thing, refining your messaging. We're going to work on it in real time where you can actually get real feedback on your ideas. Sometimes we get so much in our head with our messaging and our titles and stuff, and we think it sounds great. But when we put it out there, then we find out it's confusing people, or it's not clear, or it's not landing, and we want to know what that is. We want to know that, right? So we're going to work on this particular piece at my event. So hopefully you'll come, and a lot of other things, but that's one of the pieces that is super important. If your messaging isn't clear and concise and resonating with your audience, then nothing else is going to happen. So I want you to write something down. Take your workshop, or maybe your workshop idea, or maybe you have a coaching program, or you have a signature process, and complete this sentence. I help people through and then go ahead and write down whatever your methodology or framework is that you normally talk about. And if you want to put it in the chat, that would be awesome. Let's see, I'm looking at the chat. I got Joseph said, my most difficult killers to the workshops is the constant military and AI centers, operational margin leaks, and regulatory compliance traps. Yeah, that would not attract people, right? His best title is Busy and Broke. I like that. By listening. Okay, so do you have a methodology? Do you have a framework? Do you have a process you've worked out that's that's yours. Like I have the client's framework that I use for teaching people how to run workshops. I have the niche clarity blueprint that helps people get clear on their niche and their audience and their how what's unique for them as a coach to help them figure out who it is that they serve and what they do with those people. Those are some of my methodologies, and they're important. And they're important to have a nice name so it really is clear. Instead of like a really long involved one, niche clarity blueprint's pretty clear. The client's framework, it's talking about clients, so that's going to attract coaches who want clients. And then, of course, the title of those things goes into more detail. But when I'm out there talking and I'm leading off with a message of what I do, and I want to reach those people to attract them to my next workshop or something like that, I'm not going to lead with, I'm going to teach you my client's framework. I'm going to lead with, in this workshop, you will discover how to create consistent client attract consistently your ideal clients, and learn how to convert them into clients from, so I'm talking about, I'm going to help you attract clients and convert them. I'm going to help you create a system that will regularly, consistently bring you clients and income so you can build a six-figure business. I'm speaking to the problem. I'm speaking to the thing that they really want. I'm not saying I'm going to teach you my client's framework, even though I am, and a lot of other things, right? So that's what you lead with. You don't talk about your methodology till later. So now ask yourself, what problem does your methodology solve? What does life look like after they've solved this problem? And what does my client really want? So you look at your framework and you ask yourself, what problem does it solve? What's their life going to look like after this problem is solved? And what is it they really want? And then rewrite your phrase to answer those questions. Then you're onto something, and you can start to use that as interest, like teasers, and get people interested in listening to you and things like that. So here's an example. Instead of, I teach emotional regulation techniques, which is a typical thing a coach might say, or I teach NLP techniques. Instead of that, you could say, stop feeling overwhelmed every time life gets stressful. Or how to, if it was the title of something, how to stop feeling overwhelmed every time life gets stressful. Or I help people stop feeling overwhelmed. You see the difference? Instead of, I teach emotional regulation techniques. No, I help people to stop feeling overwhelmed every time life gets stressful. It's what I call plain street language. It's how people talk. Instead of saying, I help clients create healthy boundaries, you could say, I help people learn how to say no without feeling guilty. So much more plainer and simpler and exactly how they would say it. Or instead of, I teach confidence building strategies, you could say something like, I help people, or I help women, or whatever it might be. Let's say women. I help women speak up without replaying the conversation in their head all night. Or I help women know how to communicate and ask for what they need and want without replaying the conversation in their head all night. Do you feel the difference? So that's the main thing, is to watch and see how often you're leading with your own methodology in the name of your framework, and reframe that to speak to the problem. Because the truth is, people don't buy methodology. They buy relief, confidence, peace of mind, better relationships, more energy, more money, right? Less stress, more freedom. Those are the things they care about. They buy the destination. And once they believe that you can get them to the destination, then they will care about the how. So this week, just review your workshop titles or descriptions, or your social media, a bio. Even your LinkedIn bio should really be more about them than about you, and it shouldn't be a resume. It should be all about the problems you solve for your people, the desired outcomes of transformation. Look at all the things you're putting out there, your website, copy, your emails, your subject lines, and make sure you're speaking to the problem and take those and rewrite them, right? Rewrite them, try out that switcheroo to speak to the problem or the desired outcome of the transformation. And again, this is one of the biggest messaging shifts we help coaches make inside the Endless Enrollments Live event happening July 22 to 24. It's a 3 full day amazing event. The days fly by because we're implementing. Everybody's working on stuff. It's not just sitting and listening. We are going to work with you and give you working breaks and give you a hot seat coaching and feedback. Because workshops that consistently attract and enroll clients don't start with explaining the framework. They start with helping people see clearly what's possible. And you need to be clear on that as the coach. And when your audience sees the destination clearly, they become curious then about the journey. That's when they become curious about it. And that's when they start paying attention. So if you're ready to create a workshop that consistently attracts the right people and naturally leads right into your program, I'd love to have you join us. I'm going to drop that link here in the chat. And like I said, it'll be in the show notes below. And let's see, endlessenrollmentslive.com will get you a free ticket. There is also a VIP upgrade for only $47 where you get all the recordings and lots of great stuff. So grab that. I hope to see you there. And now let's check in and see if you guys have any comments or questions or would like to share anything at all. I was just reading the chat here. Okay, so a better message would be winning bids, the crews are out, and the trucks are moving. So why is the bank account flat at the end of the month? Exactly, Joseph. That's perfect. That's what you lead with. That's going to get attention. That's the big problem they're having, right? So great. So anybody have a question or would like to make a comment or share a little bit about what you're doing? Donna or Joseph. And by the way, those of you watching on YouTube, if you ever want to come to a live Zoom with me here during these speakeasy cafes, you can definitely do that. I'll put the link also underneath this video where you can sign up to know how to come in here. It's every Monday, just about 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Except when I'm traveling. By the way, next Monday, we will not have a speakeasy cafe because I will be on an airplane. And you can watch all the recordings right here in my channel in YouTube. Tons of them, lots of them. So feel free to check those out. Donna?
Yes. Hey, Janelle. So thank you for this. This is really great. I'm so glad I was able to jump on when you started because I have a hard stop at 1. I know you won't be finished then,
Mm.
but I did have a question. So um my program, it's less about getting to the destination. So I want to know, how do you frame that up
Mm-hmm.
when it's not about the destination? And a lot of what you said would apply, I think, in most circumstances, but in mine, it's not. So for mine, I am the adult caregivers coach,
Mm.
and I coach caregivers of elderly loved ones.
Okay.
Okay. And just that whole journey.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 pillars that I build my program around, and I have a support group
Mm-hmm.
that meets bi-monthly to talk through real time things that they're facing moment by moment through this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So in this situation, obviously, the destination is their loved one has gone home. So
Mm-hmm.
we're not trying to focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
So can you reframe this so how what you're talking about and your approach would help how I can
Yeah.
use it for mine?
Yeah, and thank you for what you do. That's really important. I was a caregiver for my dad for about 2.5 weeks at the end of his life, and it was rough. So people really need your support. I would say the destination is not about the loved one passing. The destination is about solving their problem that they're having, or it might be like relieving the stress that they're under. The destination is what they want to feel and what they want to experience during this time. And So like in your support groups, the things that they're bringing up that they want to talk through, that's the destination, is working through those things. Does that make sense? So when you're sharing your messaging, in other words, what I'm saying today is that you wouldn't talk about your three pillars necessarily right away,
Right.
process or anything. You would talk about how you help them get there, that, that what it is they're working on in support in the support groups. I would imagine it'd be like getting help when they need it, finding time for themselves to get rest. How do they deal with the emotions of it all? And those are the destinations, the
Mhm.
answers to those questions, the answers to those problems or challenges. Maybe they're more like challenges. You frame them as challenges that they're having. That's the destination, is what you can share with them on how to deal with that so that they have a better experience, so that they get the rest they need. They have even like a place to get support. That's a destination for them, having that support around them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think that there's a little massaging I would have to do with that because that's not, yeah, I hear you, but
Mhm.
yeah, so one of my pillars is just the mindset around it.
Okay.
So in their minds, in most people's minds, the end of this
Hmm.
is them passing. So I hear what you're saying, but
Hmm.
that's where one of my mindset pillar around reframing this. And so, yeah, I need to,
Hmm.
what you've done for me today is to make me speak to this, what you think the destination is and what really the destination is are two different things. So
Hmm.
this has been really
Hmm.
helpful for me.
Good.
But I believe that most people feel as a caregiver, the end of this
Hmm.
is that loved one passing. So
Sure.
I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think most people see it that way.
Yeah,
But
but what I'm saying
that's
is
a
you
good
you
point.
wouldn't you wouldn't necessarily say to them, we're going to talk about the destination. You would just talk to in your messaging that the what it is they really want, why they're
Hmm.
coming to you, what do they
Hmm.
want out of working with you. That's
Yeah,
that's the and maybe that's not the perfect metaphor for you. Um,
right.
because I can see
That's
where that would be like, wait,
yeah,
in this destination, you're thinking end of life, and I'm just thinking solving a
correct,
problem, right?
correct.
So think of it more as the way that you help them with what they really want and need as they're going through this caregiving
Mhm,
journey.
mhm.
Speak to those
Yeah.
things instead of your methodology right off the bat.
Well, definitely not the methodology, but I am going to um contrast and compare
Hmm.
because I think that most people approach anything based on what you said in the beginning.
Hmm.
They look at it what about as to
Yeah.
what do I want from this? What's the end game?
Yeah.
And so what I want to do, and again, this was helpful. You really helped me here because I think since most people see it that way, I want to
Hmm.
compare and contrast it
Yeah.
to say, I know that this is kind of how you've been programmed to see it. Like, okay, destination, like that's what the end of this, what does the end of this look like?
Yeah.
But make them see that there are tiny and consistent endings each day,
Mm.
not the
Mm.
final ending, but each day there's an ending. And how did you end it? How did you show up in that day? All those types of things. So
Hmm.
no,
Yeah.
that was really good. So thank
Or
you.
even maybe, it's more about the experience, going through the experience and finding joy in the middle of it and peace in the middle of it, even though it's tough. But
Yeah.
um, what do they want to feel and
Mhm.
experience as they're going through this time with their loved one? One of my best friends, her mom just passed recently, and she was her
Mhm.
caregiver for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
And it was tough. It was really tough. And at the near the end, she went into a
Mhm.
facility, and so my friend was there every single day with her and gave up all of her life basically to be with her mom, And we would
Right.
often talk about, she would share funny stories and share things. She was going around visiting other people in the facility and making them all feel good. She made the most of it. And that's what I think, how she went through that was beautiful. And now she can look back and remember how she showed up for her mom every single day and how her mom saw that and knew she was loved. I mean, that way you don't ever live with regrets later, even though it's tough in the middle of it. Like that's the kind of thing to me in my mind would be what you would lead with in your messaging is those kinds of things like um, that would draw them to you. Because if they're in the middle of caregiving, they're exhausted, probably, and stressed and worried and anxious. And
Yeah.
so, what do they want? What do they need? They want to have peace of mind. They want to have strength for the journey. They want to be able to show up for their loved one and all those things. And that's
Yeah.
what you're offering. And
Hmm.
then later you can talk about the methodology or the
Hmm.
process you take them through
Right.
to get
That's right.
there. So
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying today. Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
No,
I love it. Yeah.
thank you so much. And did your friend, did she have support on her journey?
She did have some, not a whole lot. She had a friend or two. I mean, there was one woman I think she hired for a while that would come in and give her
Mhm.
breaks, and then she had a couple of friends that could do that. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it because I am running a business and I have like no time to go do that. But our other friend did, I think, a couple of times come and sit with her mom. So she did have a few
Mhm.
breaks and she had to schedule everything around that. And I
Mhm.
remember when I took care of my dad for 2.5 weeks, I was like, how do people do this? This is
Yeah.
crazy. This is
Yeah.
so
It's
hard.
hard. It's
And it
very
was only
hard.
2.5 weeks. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But she found a lot of the positives in it. Decorated her mom's room and, did what she could to make it pleasant
Yeah.
and enjoyable and,
Yeah.
the joy in it. And so
That's great. Well, can I share with your audience how to connect with me if
yes,
they are
absolutely.
a caregiver?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
okay. Awesome. I'll put it in the chat too. And so I'm on Instagram at the curated caregiver. And we have a podcast
Nice.
on all podcasting platforms, and it's also called The Curated Caregiver.
Hmm.
And um, yeah, we're on YouTube. So,
Nice.
but yeah, this is helpful. I unfortunately have to jump, but Janelle,
That's
thank you so
okay.
much. I got a little nugget here, so I'm going to run
Good.
with it.
Yeah, well, come back. You're welcome every Monday.
Oh,
And
nice.
I would love to share with my friend your podcast. I think she'd probably love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll share
Excellent.
that with her.
Please do. And
Yeah.
even if she, even, the interesting thing about caregiving is that it's not usually a one and done thing.
Yeah.
At some point in your life, you're going to be a part of a care team. If you're not the primary to your mom or dad or to an elderly loved one, you might be like you were
Mhm.
part of her care team.
Yeah.
Even though you couldn't go physically like you wanted to, you were there to support and encourage and
Yeah.
just be an outlet for her. That's part of the care team. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Love it.
please share it because it's just very educational, the
Good.
podcast
Oh,
stuff.
good. Good.
Thank you
Awesome.
so
Well,
much.
thank you. And thank you for what you do in the world. And
Oh,
Joseph put in the chat, this is for people watching the video. He said he's an ambassador. He's talking about being an ambassador on Alignable because that's where a lot of people find
oh,
me and find this Speakeasy Cafe. So Joseph Lorenzen, Lorentzen, for those of you
yeah.
watching the video, he is an ambassador on Alignable, and you can find him
Oh,
there.
wow.
He,
Joseph, connect with me too because
yeah.
that's how I found you was on through
Yeah.
Alignable.
Yeah. Alignable's awesome. I have a
Nice.
group in there. I don't know if you guys remember. It's called Coaches Who Speak. We've got 7,700 plus
Oh,
people in there, and everybody's helping each other and talking to each other. And it's a really great active group. So
yeah. I'm
definitely
gonna
join.
look at that. I think I've seen it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
connect, but I have to jump. I'm super
Yeah.
late.
Okay. That's right. I need
Um,
to close this out anyway.
okay.
Awesome. And
Thank you.
you're welcome. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
And I just wanted to share also about Joseph that he helps his clients frame their contracts so that the non-compete, non-solicit clauses are leaking due to I'm not sure what all this means, Joseph, but it sounds pretty awesome. So you help subcontractors, that's the deal, right? And Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining in and watching. I'm just trying to fix my video here because somehow we got Joseph spotlighted. There we go. All right. So thanks everybody for watching and coming to the Speakeasy Cafe. I'm Janelle Anderson, the workshop queen. I teach people how to run and host and run the client enrollment workshop. It's a type of workshop. And again, come to the Endless Enrollments event live in July. We'll see you guys all later on. Bye-bye.